Hello everyone, Lewis from Scrubwood Studios here with a bit of a frustrating video to record because, spoiler alert, I've already tried to do this quite a few times and every time something has gone wrong. But what is this video? This is not exactly a reaction, but it's a review of sorts for Isle of the Mesozoic, Season 2, Episode 1 by the very talented Majunga Productions. So if you're wondering why this has been so frustrating to make and why I'm uploading this now, not when this video first came out, let me tell you a little story. So when this video first came out, I tried to do a reaction video for it, but I didn't know how to record my screen, so I just put it on my big TV and pointed my camera at the TV. But the glare on the screen was awful, which made it completely unwatchable. After that, some time passed, and then I decided I was going to have when I finally figured out how to record my screen on an iPad, I figured I'd have another go at it. But the volume was all wrong and you could barely hear my voice over the sound of the video. So then I tried to record it again, and right as I started recording, a leaf blower started up in the background. So that leaf blower might come back. I hope if it does, it doesn't drown out the recording. I really hope not, but yeah. Without further ado, let's get into this. This is a very good show, by the way. If you haven't seen this, go watch it before you watch this video. Give all your support to Majunga Productions because he's an incredibly talented Dinotuber and deserves all the credit for this video. I am just reviewing it. Couple of IOTM trikes there. This opening scene, by the way, has absolutely no narration, which I think actually works really well for what it's trying to do. One thing I really do like about pretty much everything Majunga does for like Isle of the Mesozoic is he thinks outside the box. He doesn't just use figures, he puts in a bit of animation, a bit of like puppets like there. That's something you wouldn't see in any other Dinotube series, even like the best of them like DI Season 5 and Mesozoic Isle. Which, by the way, I am thinking of covering, like doing reviews for those as well as maybe Isle of Sauron Series 2 when that comes out. This opening scene has brilliant visual storytelling. Like, even though there's no narration, I never had trouble understanding what's happening, which is quite hard to do and really shows just how like well planned and executed this is. Nice cut. Feeling that. It's a pity that I can't, like, you might notice I'm not particularly excited watching this. That's because I've seen it before, but I can tell you when I first watched this, I was very impressed, to say the least. Traumatic beginnings, they were indeed. There's a lovely shot of the sky. No clue if it's stock or if
Welcome back to the island of the Mesozoic. It has been 2 years since the last season, and now we begin with a new chapter on the island. And as the morning skies glow red from the passing storm, we resume here, deep in the northern forest. The mid-February sun glows through the northern forest, thus beginning a new day.
One does wonder if using Northern Forest twice in a row could have been improved upon, like maybe using woodland for one of them so you don't have the same word, like phrase repeated twice. But this is still amazing.
A lone baby triceratops named Mancy awakens. With loneliness, Mancy looks around, calling. Though her calls go unnoticed.
The puppeting on Mancy especially is absolutely...
The forest presents itself with beauty and tranquility, but not all is well here.
So what I was going to say there is the puppeting on Mancy is absolutely incredible, because it's generally very hard to puppet very small figures like that, especially without showing your fingers in shot. Not only has he done that, but he's given Mancy a real childlike curiosity to her, a real, like, visual personality, if you will. Like, not only is she clearly a baby because she's small, she acts like one as well on camera, which is hard to do with a static figure. Also, that tree she walks past there, I'm pretty sure is a prop. The log in the background I don't think is, but the tree next to her is a prop, which just helps. One thing that's done really well here, much better than Series 1 and most Dinotube shows in general, I think, is getting the sense of scale right, like keeping big stuff in the background and the small figures in the foreground. One of my biggest problems with Yachtcolor Island is how the dinosaurs are so obviously little models, because the trees next to them just look so out of scale. That's just massive. There's a scene in Dinosaur Island Season 4 which also went with an acro that comes around a tree, and again the tree is just massive, way out of scale. jump scare in 3, 2, 1. Another little shot there. The action scenes are also very well filmed. There's absolutely brilliant takes of it. You know, the music sings well. These shots are just like running through the bush and link up well with the figures without obviously like it's a human running, which is quite hard to do. So brilliantly shot. And the way the music changes there to something slightly more upbeat as the Torosaurus arrives. Little details make all the difference.
For Mancy, the arrival of these Torosaurus are a blessing, as they've inadvertently saved Mancy's life. As the Torosaurus begin to head off, Mancy follows. Large ceratopsians mean protection, which is all she could ask for.
I might have said now at the end of that, but I don't think it makes really much of a difference. My biggest critique, not just with this episode, but with Isle of the Mesozoic in general, is the narration, to be honest. Everything else is like top of the range, and while the narration I think is pretty close to top of the range, I slightly prefer the narration in like DI and MI. Nice shot there, by the way, with the Sinornithosaurus, I think it is, investigating the worm, but you never actually show them both in shot, so you can't tell that it's a real worm versus a tiny model. Very well integrated. That's a nice
Soon
shot.
the pair of Torosaurus meet up with their small herd.
Footstep sounds are also pretty spot on. All the sound design in general is brilliant.
Before them stands their leader,
who looks exactly the same as the other two. It's almost like they're all copies of the same figure. Not that that bothers me at all, because it doesn't. Nice use of a bit of articulation there. Once again, the music matches the scene perfectly. It's all so good.
The lead Torosaurus low-frequency calls mean acceptance. It seems Mancy has been welcomed into this herd. And with that, Mancy's new chance at herd life begins.
Don't know if this shot is stock footage or if he shot it, but quite frankly, the fact that I can't tell that is a good sign, because it means that either he shot it very well, or that his other shots are so good that they're on par or better than the stock footage. And that the stock footage, if that's what it is
integrated very well. It is the next morning, and in the grassland, a horned lizard is hunting.
Now this I do know he shot himself, and I'm very impressed by that. Also, rip ant.
Nearby are Hypsilophodon, a type of small herbivore that roam these grasslands. The ornithopod is curious.
I think he edited in the blood in the lizard's eye.
Its strange method of defense was enough to scare off the small herbivore.
I'm not sure on that, but I think...
Though aside from...
Hold on.
Yes.
Yeah, that looks too perfectly circular. I think that's edited in. But it still links up nicely with this scene.
It seems the lizard's strange method of defense was enough to scare off the small herbivore.
If you told me before I saw this that someone was going to have
from blood-shooting
a series where real wildlife interacts with the dinosaur
is
figures,
resting.
I'd have told you that'll never work. That's impossible. But he's done it, and he's done it remarkably well, which I tip my hat to that, even though I'm not wearing one.
The Torosaurus herd. And nearby is Mancy. Due to Mancy's traumatic experience, she's been beginning to have minor panic attacks, as well as higher stress at times, which may or may not worsen as she ages.
Time for our comedic relief scene. And also one of my very few critiques with this episode. There's a finger slip. Hold on. See if I can. See if I can pause it at just the right moment. Dang it! Okay, well, okay, but you saw it, right? There was a tiny bit of finger, but is that a big deal? No. But it probably could have been cropped out quite easily, so, you know, that's probably the one minor gripe I have with this series, with this episode.
The Hypsilophodon aren't helping. For the moment, the herd members rest in the morning light. but as the sun climbs higher, they will soon be on the move to more shaded areas.
Stackosaurus. The puppeting, just in general.
Soon, the ceratopsians head for the woodland to feast.
So the puppeting for the Torosaurus is also very good, is what I was trying to say. Not only do they... Oh, this is quite a good scene where... Yeah, that happens. That's funny. But look how it moves, like the weight shifts side to side. That's conveyed really well. And that's, like, quite hard to do, I think. It reminds me a bit of some of the puppeting in MI, but I actually think this is better. Some of the puppeting in MI, some of it was very good, but some of it wasn't quite as good as the rest, whereas this episode I feel is more consistent overall in terms of quality. At least for the puppeting. And that's saying something, because Mesozoic Kyle is my favourite Dinotube series, for the record.
At last, they reach the grazing area.
This scene is also really good. Like, theoretically, just watching herbivores grazing isn't that interesting, but it's executed so well here that it feels worth watching. Like, theoretically, this scene isn't very interesting. Nothing really happens. They just eat, but it's executed so well that it's still enjoyable. And that's, again, quite hard to do. And once again, the music lines up beautifully with what's happening in the scenes. Right, so that's the episode. So, what are my thoughts? Apart from that one finger slit, what's not to like? The choice of figures was great. Especially when you're limiting yourself to 1 to 18th scale, approximately. A scale where there aren't that many choices for figures. Like, the ones chosen were brilliant. The puppeteering of all of those figures was great. They all felt alive and actually like they had sort of individual personalities almost, like that you can see. The sound effects were bang on. The music matched whatever was going on at pretty much all times. The choice of backgrounds was great. The lighting was great. The camera work, especially for the chase scenes, was great. The pacing of the story was good. If I had one critique, it might be that all of the action was grouped at the start of the episode, and then we had 2 scenes in a row where not much happened. But I think if he'd done that differently, the story wouldn't have worked. Like, the cryo chase scene kind of needs to come after Mancy is orphaned. and then the other two scenes kind of have to come after that. I can't really complain about that fairly, I think, at all. So with that, onto a score. I'm going to give this a very solid 9 out of 10, I think. A very strong 9 out of 10, and I cannot wait to see what the later episodes bring. But with that, make sure you guys all go subscribe to Majunga, because he's an absolutely brilliantly talented Dinotuber. Let me know if you want me to do more videos like this and which series you'd like to see me cover. I've already got some ideas for ones, but if there's any others, I might cover them as well. But with that, I'm going to end this video. Scrubwood Studios, signing out.